place I've ever been.
Hello guys, welcome back to another lovely trading recap. Today's recap, we've made $315 or just over 1% on our account. We traded 6 tickers and I believe we did 8 different trades. So we'll get through all of these. As you can see, SPY is down 70% today, which is the S&P 500 ETF. And with NASDAQ, which is QQQ is the ETF for it, we're down just over 2%. So we can see market's down quite a bit today, but we were able to make money, which is pretty good. We'll go biggest to smallest as always, so our biggest trade being TGLS. Okay, this one is actually kind of interesting. I did do a bit of revenge trading on this in advance. Would have been a winner either way, but what basically happened, you can see I took my original entry here, which was a short. I then added to my short coming into that whole dollar resistance. But you can also see I've got a blue circle there, meaning I also covered, which you'll see here. I accidentally covered here when I was meant to be putting in profit targets, and I think the mistake I made, I think I did, I think I was looking for a profit of 1550, and I think I put in 1650, so it just automatically took me out of the trade and took the supposed profit. But that's basically what happened. So then I basically got kicked out for $60 loss, and then that was right at the peak I basically filled. So as you can see, yeah, we filled at 98 and it went up dead on 16. So it did kind of leave me to do a bit of revenge trading, which is never usually a good thing. In this one case it did work out. However, I would have taken this trade, I just used more size, which I mean was the problem. So I re-shorted coming into this whole dollar resistance. As you can see, I shorted 250 shares. This is where the revenge trading kicked in. I shorted another 250 shares, so we were double sized to kind of make up for the original loss we took over here. And so basically we just locked in some profits here, and then that made us, I believe, green on the yeah, then we would break even on the trade, and then we did actually go let it kind of just roll out. It did look kind of weak. Well, you can see volume definitely slowed down, so I was kind of just waiting for it to kind of break down to the VWAP, as through my testing shows 90% of the time it does break down to VWAP. So I was kind of happy to maybe take a bit of a red trade on this, but if it did turn into a green trade, it would be very green, because my stop I think was 1630 might have been. So I mean, I wasn't risking all that much to turn it into a big green day. So that's what we did. Next one is on SQ. It was down quite a bit today. The reason for this, 87%, I believe it got downgraded by JP Morgan and maybe Citigroup as well. Raises, yeah, I don't know why it sold off. I think it was JP Morgan who did it, because a lot of them changed. I think JP Morgan, Citigroup, and maybe a few other banks all changed their price targets on a lot of technology stocks and downgraded them. That's why if you see stocks like Intel, probably AMD, those kind of stocks, they were all down quite heavy today. But on SQ, we basically wait one sec, let me zoom out. Don't know if did I draw the entries here? Oh, I did. Cool. So obviously we made it quite a bit of money on this trade, but compared to how the stock moved today, it wasn't all that bad. Here was actually the green deviation. So I went long on here, as we were also in a divergence, as you can see here. So I went long 100 shares and just locked in profits, as we kind of just came into the 9, because it still did look quite bearish, but every so often we're going to have to pull back to the 9 EMA. As it is kind of an average, you're going to have to retrace to it at one point. Buying pressure will come in if there's too much selling. That's kind of where we took the profit today. We kind of just, it was getting oversold, so buying pressure came in and we kind of just took advantage of that. Could have maybe locked in the profits close to the 20 and made probably another $100 on the trade, but better to lock it in on these kind of trades where you're kind of fighting a losing trend. I prefer to just lock in profits when they're there. Was actually looking to retrade on my resistance line. I believe it's a long-term resistance. Oh no, it's a trend line, but didn't end up taking it because I was just about to head out, I think, for like some breakfast or something, so I didn't really want to trade it if I couldn't be watching it properly. The next biggest trade was SOHO. Now these are the kind of trades I quite like trading. where you get really quick sudden momentum pops, and then instantly volume cuts in half, and just the movement is just kind of limited. So that's kind of what happened here. We went, let's have a quick look how far we moved in one candle. We moved 13% near enough in one candle, and then we kind of just consolidated here. So that's exactly why I took an entry here. Not a massive size, I think it was for 300 shares. Yeah, 300 shares, so nothing crazy. Did push up a bit higher, but we're on a psychological resistance of $4, the whole dollar resistance, and we just had a momentum pop. Usually means you're going to retrace at least back to the 9 EMA, if not 20, and that's kind of what we did here. So we kind of just waited it out, came into 9. I did then have a stop loss ready to come out if we broke into a new high, so 405, but we kind of broke down to VWAP, where I was happy to lock in profits, and that's what I ended up doing. Obviously if we held on, it did fall out lower on the day, but as again, I always like to lock in at VWAP, because 90% of the time on trades I've taken, it retraces back to the VWAP. BTU, I believe we traded twice, the first one being a profit, the second one being a break-even trade. So you can see here, coming into the morning, we shorted here, literally the top of that move, and then locked in profits down at the bottom. Reason for this, psychological level again, that $0.25 resistance, well 75 cents resistance, and we were also in this divergence. So just looked like we were here, and then I would be happy to add into this trade coming into 6, but it literally worked instantly, so locked in profits, about a 20-cent move, so happy to lock it in right away, which we ended up doing. Then we came back to trade this when it came into this another psychological level of $6. Again, we were still in a divergence from this high, so it looked like a good short. So shorted here, didn't actually pull back right away, which is quite uncommon, but usually then what happens is you get a nice pop, as we did here. I think it went 6.15, and then usually pull back instantly. If you don't pull back instantly, then sometimes it's a bit worrisome and you kind of just want to cut losses, but most of the time it will just snap back down to exactly where it was. That's what happened here. Consolidated, and then I looked in, broke even near enough. I think we made like $2 on the trade. Yeah, we made $2 on the second one, just basically coming into the 20, because we could have easily continued this trend. In this case, we did actually end up fading out this move, but again, you never know. And I was looking to trade this again if we could come into this 635 to 640 level, because that would have been long-term deviations, but we couldn't quite get there, so didn't end up trading that again. Next one is Johnson & Johnson. Nothing crazy, $23. Again, we traded this, I believe, right in the morning. Yeah, right over here. I'm sorry, my TOS is a bit laggy. Yeah, basically, you can see strong momentum in here. This is where this green deviation was. Basically, where this golden deviation is, where the green deviation was, which is the third deviation. Usually a strong reversal zone. And so, essentially, I waited. Didn't want to short too big of a size, so that's kind of what I waited for. Then we ended up doing 100 shares, but you can see we entered at near enough 47, and that's we were already the TTM squeeze turned red, which does show that weakness or selling pressure is becoming more strong or overpowering the buying power, so we could see a nice pullback. So basically shorted the top of this move, locked it into the 9. Again, I usually say I like to hold into the VWAP. Large cap, if it's a big move from the 9 EMA, I tend to just lock in profits coming into the 9, because these are more stronger companies and will continue trends usually in an upward way a lot better than a small cap stock would. So I kind of looked it in here. We missed out on about 20 cents, but it's not the end of the world. Last trade is JP Morgan. We did end up doing a small loss on this. The trade I was trying to do just didn't work instantly, and as it's a lot, well, as we were already kind of up for the day, I didn't really want to risk profits just to get either a small win or a small loss, so I kind of just took it off the table right away. We went long in here. This is where the golden first deviation is. Don't usually trade that on a 1 day 1 minute chart on a normal stock, but JP Morgan is a stock I like, and it's a blue chip stock, so usually tends to follow these 1 day 1 minute deviations a lot stronger, because it doesn't like to break the trends as much. Went along here. We were waiting for it to basically just retrace into this 20, and didn't quite do that, didn't even quite get the 9. So if we kind of broke lower, I was happy to take it out at 162.19, because then it would show maybe, okay, there's a bit more selling pressure than I like. I ended up getting triggering out this position. Then it kind of consolidated and then pushed for the profit target we originally wanted. But again, even if we stayed in that, it would have been like a $20-$30 win, nothing too crazy. And you know, even though that move worked there, we could have easily have got caught in this downward trend here, which if usually on these blue chip stock, if it doesn't kind of bounce right away, they do tend to stay more bearish coming into it, and the same on the reversal side. If they're coming into the top deviation, if they don't bounce instantly, usually end up being more bullish. So that's it for the recap. Hope you enjoyed. Didn't do anything on the swing account, so there'll be no swing trading recap today. But that's it on the day trading side. I hope to see you in tomorrow's recap, and that's it. Peace.